The Amateur is a spy thriller film. I wanted to watch this one earlier in the year, but the reviews were not kind, so I decided to wait for home video, and the library had it. This one's about Charlie Heller. He is an intelligent introvert who works for the CIA, working on algorithms and all sorts of brainy stuff. However, his wife goes on a business trip to London, and she is killed in a terrorist attack. So he's devastated and wants the CIA to find the people responsible and bring them to justice, but they seem to be sitting on their hands. So he decides to take matters into his own hands, become a vigilante, and then decide to go after the killers himself. So the trailer for this movie, it makes it seem like a really intense, Bourne-like spy thriller film. You know, lots of like running around, lots of like big bold moments, but all of the good parts in the trailer is in the last half of the movie. This movie is really slow. The first hour of this movie is basically him dealing with bereavement and stuff, and we don't really get into the movie but halfway through when he decides to go rogue. And honestly, it might be the story is sort of held back a little because this movie is based on a book. It was also made into a Canadian film in the 80s. However, that one's not really big, I guess. And this one definitely has more star-studded cast. You've got Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne and a few others. So this one feels a little bit slow. He doesn't really go for his revenge until about halfway during the movie. There's lots of like wasting time, lots of over-the-top dream sequences where he keeps seeing his wife, and like it just feels really terrible because she basically is fridged, right? At the beginning of the movie, she's basically killed for his motivation, and kind of a waste of Rachel Brosnahan. And then he teams up with another hacker lady later. So there's a couple thrilling moments near the end of the movie, but overall, the movie just doesn't feel very kinetic. It feels very clinical, very flat. It doesn't really sing. It just sort of happens. Events happen. And then the ending is really terrible too. There's a really sequence that just doesn't really make sense. And as much as everyone's doing a good job and there's nothing wrong in terms of like production value, the movie just doesn't feel like it all comes together. It just feels like a series of just events. The theme doesn't really kick in. There's no super memorable moment. It's basically just a brainiac doing stuff, blowing up people from a distance, and it's not as intense as the trailers would make you seem. So the movie's a little bit slow and boring in that regard, and overall, I mean, The Amateur is just an alright movie, one and done kind of average, generic, but it should have had more panache, should have had more going on. So I give The Amateur a 5 out of 10.